There we go. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. My name is Rob. I'm one of the executives here. I'm going to be spending the next 50 minutes or so with you, going through what DuePoint's all about, what the opportunity is all about. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live stream. After the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. All right, let's begin. So as you can see, DuePoint is a division of Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. We were founded in 1952, so we've been around for nearly 70 years. That's Constantia's office in the background. They're just down the road from us in Randburg. We don't share offices with them, obviously. That's their branding. The financial services provider number that we license to use is that one that you see over there. That's very important. You'll notice on the wall outside above the water cooler in the foyer, we've got all these certificates up on the wall. Those are our Financial Services Board licenses. So that's very important, obviously, complies with the regulation, first of all, but it's our stamp of credibility in the business. So go take a look at those. We've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, and then we've also got our FSP license on display. We've got accreditation with the direct marketing and the direct selling associations, so go take a look at those. The leadership here, or the executives and the managers, are these individuals up on screen. The first three people are all registered chartered accountants, very fancy, starting with Mr. Benfield. So he's our senior executive. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because his father got into insurance when... Turn left. Tell them where to go. Short left. All right. So Brendan's father got into insurance pretty much straight out of school. And his father's been involved in insurance ever since. He became a professor of insurance. He taught at Wits for 25 years. His father founded Clientele Life. He started the IFA. They have founded financial businesses around the world. They've had a lot of success in the space. Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps. They went on to found another business down the road called Prime Meridian Direct, which is now the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country. So we've got some great financial pedigree in Brendan. Very lucky to have him heading up this division. Tim and Stacey, they look after the auditing and the accounting aspects of our business. Tim is very experienced in corporate banking. He was with the First Rand Group for 15 years before he joined us here at DuePoint. Stacey's been working in auditing all her career. She worked here as well as overseas. So those are the boring accountants. Then myself and Jane, the less boring people. We're not accountants, but Jane is very experienced in network marketing or referral marketing. She's actually from the UK, so if you speak to her, you'll notice she's got a Yorkshire accent. And her experience is very important to our team, because even though we're an insurance business, our growth is very much predicated on our ability to work in the network marketing space. Right? And Jane brings that international experience with her to our team. And then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising for over 20 years. I ran my own digital agency for 15 of those years. So that's the team, a little bit of background on us and the business. You're welcome to go do a background check on us. You can Hello Peter us, you can Google us, you can go check our bios out on the website. We are listed under the Joburg Stock Exchange under a company called Conduit Capital. It is important that you trust the business that we're speaking about this evening, because you'll never be in a position to make a decision if you don't first of all trust us. So this is why we discuss our background. We want you to find us as credible as possible. All right, so briefly we're just going to discuss the negative circumstance that we typically find ourselves in. So you can see the word debt is on the screen. You know it's going to be a negative slide. And really it's just talking about the circumstance that we find ourselves in this economy. People wouldn't be looking for something extra if your salary was doing everything you had hoped it would do, right? So when we look at the economy, we don't have too much hope at the moment, maybe a little bit of hope springing forth in the last month or so. But beyond that, from a personal finance point of view, not much is going to change. We have high interest rates in the country. We've got high inflation. We've got very high food inflation. And you can ask yourself the question, has your salary kept up with what the cost of living is increasing by every year? So inflation is sitting between, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, inflation has kind of bounced between 5 and 7%. Have you got a 5 to 7% increase in your salary every single year for the last 7 years? And the answer for most people is no. And the net effect of that is that your salary is actually devaluing. You'll feel that in your pocket at the end of every month, because it feels like you're running out of money more and more. And unfortunately, we are very much criticized as an economy that engages too much in debt. right? So I think we try to remedy the situation using debt, which doesn't remedy the situation, it actually exacerbates the problem. And we find that South Africans are often in a debt cycle, and this comes to a head when you get to retirement. Because when you get to retirement, you're going to be forced to ask yourself the question, how much have I saved, invested in my retirement fund for the last 40, 45 years of working? Because that investment has to keep you in a dignified retirement from the age of retirement until you die. We are probably going to live to our 90s, if not to 100, right? So if you're retiring at 60 or 65, your retirement has to last you 30 to 35 years. But the reality for most people, and we see this in the statistics that we get, is that 97% of South Africans will get to retirement not having done nearly enough to secure a dignified retirement. You're going to be forced to go look for jobs again, right, with the other 10 million unemployed people. You're going to be forced to downscale your lifestyle to such a degree that you can afford to get by. You become dependent on children, on other family members, and this is reality for most of us, 97%. Only 3% of South Africans retire financially independent. Right? And what this business opportunity is about moving us into that 3%. I don't want to be part of the 97%. I can tell you that right now. Right? And that's the opportunity that's on offer today. So out of all of this negativity, as a business, we saw an opportunity to create a system that the average South African can engage in to change that circumstance. So we call it the DuePoint System. It was launched almost 2 years to the day back. And we have 3 aspirations in mind for the people that join this business. So you're thinking, well, I'm just here to earn money, but money is just a means to an end. And to that end, we have these aspirations in mind. So number 1, we want to see people in this business aspire to becoming debt-free. We want you to become debt-free because really what we're trying to do is create wealth, right? Everyone wants to be wealthy. That's what you're doing here. But you can't become wealthy if you owe other people money, right? That goes without saying. So our first aspiration, become debt-free. The second aspiration is to create wealth. We create wealth through ownership of assets and investments that appreciate in value. And then the third aspiration happens on its own, and that is just to be happier at the end of every month. Right? Is everyone happy at the end of the month, or do you get depressed at the end of the month? You're happy for about 5 minutes, right? When your first SMS arrives, when you get your salary, you're happy for 5 minutes, and then the debit orders come after that SMS. So we want to be happier. That's ultimately what we want to do. Change our circumstance for ourselves and our families. So those are the 3 aspirations we have for people in this business. You can align yourselves to these aspirations. You don't need to. But that's what we have in mind for the people here. So how does this work? Our guests here this evening, you have the opportunity to join DuePoint. When you join us, you actually contract with us. And once you contract with us, we call you wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, we have a single task, a single focus in this business, and that is to build what we call channels of distribution. So I will talk about channels of distribution constantly. If you become a wealth engineer, you will know that's all that we really focused on in this business. And I'll show you what one of those look like. But basically, it's you just bringing people to DuePoint, just connecting people to us. And our online platform will facilitate the sale of products to those people. And you'll benefit out of that. The benefit, obviously, is extra income. Right? But the nature of the income that we produce is very important because it's recurring income. Some people refer to this as passive income. I fondly refer to my father's term or his description of it, and he said it's the ability to make money while you're sleeping. Did you know that was possible? Is this the first time you're hearing about possibly making money while you're sleeping? It's not about standing on Rivonia Road at midnight. Right? There are other ways to make money in the middle of the night. Right? And it is through recurring income. This is a very powerful benefit. It is the ability to free yourself of time constraint. Right? So this business that I ran for 15 years, I walked away from that business mainly because we couldn't create recurring income. Right? So the asset, we weren't really building an asset in my business. We ran a very successful digital agency, but it was like any other service-based business. We would have to work for every cent that we earned. Nothing we did in month 1 paid us in month 2. If I wanted to make money in month 2, I would have to work in month 2, right? It's the same for anyone in service-based businesses, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, an electrician, a plumber, a hairdresser. We are constrained by time. As employees, you are most especially constrained by time, right? Because you've got a contract that says you work 8 hours, 40 hours a week, and then I'll pay you at the end of the month. No more, no less. This business allows the ability to create an asset that pays you well beyond your efforts, right? So I'm hoping this will convince you. We harness the power of duplication in the system that we've built. So we've created leverage. Leverage means you can multiply your efforts. You can duplicate yourself. So when you bring people to DuePoint and you connect them with us, and these people also become wealth engineers in our business, that is you collaborating, right? Because if you restricted to, let's say, for example, an hour a day to sacrifice in this business, if you go out and find 20 people that do the same thing, now you have potentially 21 hours. You've multiplied yourself by 20 times. Again, in employment, you don't have that option. So these two benefits, recurring and power duplication, I think for me are one of the most important. The business is flexi time, so this is great. You get to choose what it looks like, right? Your DuePoint business, you get to decide what your week looks like in terms of your engagement with the business. You can do it on Monday evenings, you can do it on the week evenings, you can do it on weekends, Sunday mornings. Decide what it looks like for you. It's completely up to you. No startup capital, no registration fees. We try and make the business as risk-free as possible so that it's easy to engage with, right? We don't want to make it risky. Those are get-rich-quick schemes. I heard recently, last week, someone convinced a whole bunch of people to invest 17,000 Rand into some scheme, and the money disappeared within 2 weeks. Gone. And these are people that took money out of their pensions, right? We are risk-free. We make this business as low risk as possible. I don't want you to feel threatened or burdened by this opportunity. That's very important. The moment someone comes up to you and says, oh, you only need to invest 20,000 Rand into an opportunity, get worried, right? There's no qualifications or experience required. So this is notable because we work within financial services, and there's a lot of regulation that says that you need specific qualifications and experience to work in financial services. But the way we've designed the system frees you of that obligation. So you can enjoy the benefits of being involved in financial services without any of that obligation. You get to build an asset. Now this for me is the most important benefit. The most important benefit. Why? Because building these channels of distribution, know that you have legal tender over your channel of distribution that you're building. It means that you own this thing, this asset that you're building. You can sell it, right? So this last year already, 2017, we had plenty wealth engineers selling their channels for various reasons. It means that your channel will pay you beyond retirement. You'll be 60. You'll still be earning from your channel. 65, 70, 75, 80. Right? It doesn't end when you retire. When you die, it'll still pay out to your beneficiaries. You can seed your channel of distribution to your beneficiaries, to your children. It can be part of your will. It'll become part of your estate. Right? So I'm hoping that you'll be happy to sacrifice and invest time into building a channel of distribution, knowing that you have ownership over this asset. There's no selling involved in our business. This is great because the majority of us don't even like to think about the prospect of having to sell, right? Anyone love selling? Anyone love selling milkshakes on weekends to their friends? Right? No, we don't. You ask anyone. No, I don't like it, right? The nature of our products makes it very convenient because we've got financial products. We don't have boxes of product that you have to take home tonight. You don't have to bring a bucky to be successful in our business. You don't have to store stuff at home. We don't run out of products. Our products don't have expiry dates on them, right? As convenient as possible. But your success in our business is very much dependent on your ability to build a channel of distribution. So it begins with you. You become a wealth engineer, and you're going to go out and find, I hope, like-minded, resourceful, capable people that will collaborate with you. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to convince some people that you know to join and become DuePoint Wealth Engineers, they take out one of our products, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. And this is where the power duplication starts to take place, right? Because the people that you introduce to the business are going to go out and do exactly the same thing as you. They will also find other people to come to DuePoint and become wealth engineers. And as that duplication starts to happen, your channel of distribution starts to grow and grow and grow beyond your efforts. This is leverage. Because you only took the time to get 5 people to join your business, but this is how big your business will look. You're getting paid for every single person with a product on the screen, not once, but every single month because it's recurring income. This is what has value. So my hope is that you'll build a sustainable business built on quality individuals that you bring into this business. Right? So picture yourself as the CEO, These are your board of directors. You're not going to put a gazebo up on the corner of the street and say, anyone who wants to join business or wants work, come see me. Right? Would you do that if you started your own business? No, you wouldn't. You would hand-pick people that you wanted in your business. Because potentially you're going to be working with those individuals for the rest of your life. So bring the best in. Right? Because my vision for people in this business is that in 3 to 5 years' time, you'll be in a position where DuePoint is paying you enough every single month that you have the luxury of going on a 3-month holiday. Imagine taking 3 months leave, knowing that DuePoint's going to pay you every single month while you're on holiday. See? Making money while you're sleeping. Right? What prospect do we have of that in employment, where you get a 3-month holiday? Doesn't happen, right? Maybe if you're one of the top execs at McKinsey, maybe then you get a 3-month holiday. But for majority of us, we get our 15 days, 20 days if we're lucky. We need and we want more out of the business. So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. You'll be warned that you might have arrived to the presentation thinking it's one of those schemes, right? Anyone think they got invited to a scheme? One of those businesses? Because there seem to be lots floating around. We're not one of those. So I can assure you now, and I hope that I lay your fears, that we are a very credible business. We've been around for 70 years. Right? We're regulated by the Financial Services Board. We're listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. If you want to have a meeting with our senior executive, you can have that. We're right here. Right? We're not hiding behind YouTube screens and any of that. Our offices are open to anyone that wants to come speak to us. We are accountable to the people in this business because we want to build a long-term business. And at the same time, you might be wondering why there's a picture of ballerina up on the screen. At the same time, we'll never promise you success easily. So this is a picture of success, right? We see successful entrepreneurs, but that's what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. From the outside, it might seem like everything's wonderful and easy, but it takes blood, sweat, and tears. So Brennan and myself will always say to you, there is a downside to entrepreneurship, but you can't see that as a burden. You have to see that as a challenge if you want to be successful, right? So never make the mistake thinking, oh, this is a get-rich-quick scheme. Then I'll ask everyone, who wants to get rich slowly? Trick question, right? No one wants to get rich slowly. It happens slowly, I'm sorry to say. But that's what it'll offer. If you want to change your life in the next 5 years, you're in the right place. So this is our disclaimer slide. There are 2 ways to earn. So one is through our returns program, the second way is through our rewards program. So the returns program is the recurring income that you're able to make in this business. Right? So it starts like this. We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that you have in your channel. But that is dependent on where the product lies. So remember the first 5 individuals you introduced to the business. Those people, that product lies on your first point. And on point 1, we actually pay you double the R27.50. On point 2, so these are friends of your friends, again, we pay you R55 for every product every single month. Remember, it's recurring income. And as your channel starts to grow, point 3, you see the multiplier drops to 100%, back to R27.50. And as your business starts to grow, your channel, you see the multiplier starts to drop as the product gets further away from you. But what's important to note is that we don't limit you at point 8. From point 8 onwards into infinity, in theory, we will keep paying you that 4%. We've got wealth engineers who have been here for 2 years. They're already on point 30 in their businesses. And they can earn all the way up to point 30. And that's only after 24 months, right? We don't limit you on how big your channel can get. We don't limit you on how much money you can make. The accountability always rests with you. You make that decision. So this is the mechanics of the returns. The next question we get is, well, how much money can someone earn in this business? Give me an idea of what I can expect. So we built this thing called the Path to Success. It is a projection over the next 5 years. So over the next 60 months, it's based on a premise or a growth formula called 3+2. It assumes in your first month as a wealth engineer, you can bring 3 people into our business. Just 3. Right? So we're right in the beginning of February. You've got the whole of February to bring 3 people into the business. And then every consecutive month thereafter, you only have to bring in 2. So 3 in the first month, then 2 in March, 2 in April, 2 in May, 2 in June. If you can follow that growth formula, you can expect these kind of numbers. After 6 months of work, doing 3+2, you can be expecting to earn about R2,500 a month in recurring income. What are you thinking? Oh, that's a low number. Did I drive all the way to Bryanston for R2,500? See, you're sitting there, you can't even leave. Right? Right? Isn't that the first impression? 2,500 rand. Oh, what can 2,500 rand buy you today? Is that really worth my time? 6 months of working in this business, they want to pay me 2,500 rand a month. Not only do we want to create recurring income for you, but for me personally, I'd like to make you think differently about money. Because we all make the mistake of thinking like consumers. Do you know how a consumer thinks? You say, here's 2,500 rand. They say, what can I spend that on? You give an entrepreneur, an investor, 2,500 rand. You think they're thinking, how can I spend that tomorrow? They don't think like that. They think, how can I leverage the money to my benefit? That's exactly what the bank does. I assume everyone's got debt here, right? Majority of us are indebted, right, in some way or form. The bank is leveraging you. It's called compound interest. You're either on the good side of compound interest or you're on the bad side. Our job is to get onto the good side. And little 2,500 rand can do that a lot faster than you think. So here we have an example of someone with a 1 million rand bond. Right? So they found a nice house that they wanted to buy. They didn't have the money. They went to the bank. The bank looked at their credit history and how much money they're earning and said, right, we'll lend you the money, but you're going to pay us back in the form of a bond, right, for the next 20 years. So the bond term is 20 years. Prime plus 2 on 1 million rand, you're paying back about 11,500 rand a month for the next 20 years. So if you're 40, like me, and you engage in this bond for the first time, I find a house, finally I'm in a position to pay it off, I'm going to make my final installment at the age of 60. It's my last installment. I'll become a homeowner for the first time in my life at the age of 60. Right? But if I join DuePoint and 6 months later with some success, I'm earning 2,500 rand a month, and I listen to Rob, he says, pay your debt off first. Right? And instead of spending the money, I put it into my bond. Do you know what the net effect of that is? You're going to nearly halve the term of your bond. You'll pay that house off in 11 and a half years instead of 20. So I'll become a homeowner at the age of 51. Do you know how much money it saves you in repayments to the bank? Nearly 1 million rand. Nearly the full value of the asset that you originally financed, you can save yourself. Anyone saving towards 1 million rand for their retirement fund? Right? 2,500 rand. It's equatable to 1 million rand in savings. After 12 months, you've created for yourself in excess of 100,000 rand annually in recurring income. Who would like a 100,000 rand check every January? Imagine coming home with a 100,000 rand check every January. That's recurring income, right? Not once off, every January. We keep going. After 24 months, 2 years away, nearly 30,000 rand a month. How about a 360,000 rand check every January? Keep going. After 3 years, 36 months, you had nearly 50,000 rand a month. You want to look at the power of paying your debt off? Here's an example of someone with a 5 million rand bond. A house for 5 million rand that they've just financed. At month 30, they're earning about 36,000 rand. If they put that 36,000 rand as an additional payment into their bond, they're paid off in less than 7 years. Now, I love this example, right? Because I know for 36,000 rand, instead of putting it into my bond, I can buy a brand new Porsche. Isn't that the decision we make daily? Do I spend it or do I invest it? How do my friends know I'm successful if I'm paying my bond off faster? They can't see it, right? I'll look much better in a Porsche than a paid off house. That's the decision we wrestle with every day. 7 years, at the age of 47, I'll pay off my first 5 million rand house. I'll buy another house. Because I paid my debt, I'm going to start creating wealth in terms of assets that I own. So I buy a second house. I pay that off at the age of 54. I buy a third house. I pay it off at the age of 61. Now when I'm ready to retire, I'm already living in a house that I paid off. I'm renting out the 2 other properties that I own for 60,000, 70,000 rand a month. What is DuePoint paying me after 20 years? We have to make the decision 20 years before we enjoy the fruits of it. After 48 months, we're close to 70,000 rand a month. After 60 months, 5 years away, you've created for yourself about 1 million rand in annual recurring income. How about 1 million rand check every Christmas? You might be thinking, well, it's just academic. It's just an example that the accountants came up with, right? And you're right, it is. It's just an example. You can do less than 3 plus 2. Remember, it's based on the premise of bringing 2 people into the business every single month. You can do less than that. Because we've got lots of people get excited, become wealth engineers, they don't do anything. I call them my 0 plus 0 club. But you can also do more. If you want more than R1 million after 5 years, guess who makes that decision? You guys make the decision. We've got wealth engineers that have been here for 2 years, that are doing less than 3 plus 2, some doing more than 3 plus 2. But to illustrate the example in the value of money again, we've got Mike and Vilna, they're doing less than 3 plus 2 because they've been here for 2 years and they're only at 10,000 Rand a month. So a quick pop quiz question. How much money do you need in investment to pay yourself out 10,000 Rand a month in interest? This is the question you're going to ask yourself when you get to retirement. Right? You're going to look at your retirement fund and go, can I afford to retire? You need 2 million Rand sitting in the bank to afford 10,000 Rand a month. They created it in 2 years, but they're doing less than 3 plus 2. Who would give up if they didn't get to 2,500 Rand after 6 months? I bet most of us would. Right? We would. It's human nature. Right? I've seen the data. We've been in this business for 2 years. I see the people drop out. I've seen people get to 10,000 a month and just stop doing the business. I know. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, we've got Spongile from Tembisa. She's been in the business for a year. The value of her channel is in excess of 12,000 a month already. But that was in the middle of January, right? So that's probably gone up. And she's a gogo. She was telling me she doesn't know all these things. She doesn't have access to transport, but she goes and finds people at funerals and weddings. Rena and Malcolm, they've been in the business since the day we launched, so 2 years. They've been involved in network marketing since Rena left school. So she won't tell me how long ago that was, but we know it's in excess of 20 years. She reckons she's probably joined in excess of about 100 network marketing businesses in her lifetime. And she's happy to say that she thinks DuePoint is by far the best that she's been part of. Their business, nearly 30,000 a month. Guys, everybody is different. We've got thousands of people, wealth engineers, joining this business every single month. Everyone is different. Everyone's running their own race. They've got different circumstances, but the business is available to everybody. And you dictate how much you want out of the business. I don't dictate how much you get out of the business. So this is our returns program. This is the ability to make recurring income for yourself. Right? There's a second way to earn, and that's through our XP Rewards program. So the XP Rewards program is kind of like an incentive program. It works like this. You become a wealth engineer, and when you start engaging in typical wealth engineer behavior, we give you something called experience points, right? XP. And as you start collecting more and more XP and your business starts to grow, we reward you along the way. So if you start out as a wealth engineer, you will start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. You can see you're not even on the slide because you're not important to us. You're still part of the 0 plus 0 club. But to get to rank 1, you need 1,000 XP. You need 4 products in your qualified channel. And when you do that, you become rank 1, and we give you a once-off 55 Rand reward at the end of the month. Right? Humble beginnings. But as you start to rank up, as you start collecting more XP, your business starts to grow, there's a 20,000 Rand check waiting for you, a 50,000 Rand check. We give tools to our wealth engineers that help them build their channels more effectively and more efficiently. So at rank 5, here's Patrick and Pumi. At rank 5, they got their Lightning USB drive. This is a lovely little device because it plugs into anything. It can plug into phones, tablets, TVs, laptops, computers. Right? Doesn't matter if it's Android, Apple, banana. It plugs into everything. More importantly, we've got our video collateral on the USB stick. So Patrick and Pumi can show the DuePoint opportunity, our videos, regardless of what device they have around them. At rank 7, we get these premium luxury business cards manufactured. We spent 12,500 Rand on each set of cards for you. They are gilded and embossed in gold. There's no ink on these business cards. 4 times thicker than any other card. The paper's like a black suede. In my 20 years of advertising, I've never seen anyone with business cards like this. Why would we go to such an extent for business cards? Because this business is very much dependent on first impressions and credibility. If I come up to someone and say, I've got a wonderful business proposition for you, it's with a company called DuePoint, I say, I've never had a DuePoint. Your credibility is still down here. But I promise you, if you put out A 12,500 Rand business card that looks and feels like that, your credibility will shoot up because your business card costs about 50 times more than the other person's business card. It is opportunity. Maybe just a few minutes to explain what DuePoint's all about. At rank 9, this is the one everyone gets excited about because this is our only recurring rank. Right? So when you get to rank 9, you get to enjoy this not once, every single year. It is business class tickets for you and your family to our international conference every year. It's a 5-star luxury resort, 7 days away, all expenses paid trip that you get to enjoy not once, but every single year for the rest of your life. So we've just been on our trip, the first inaugural rank 9 trip. We documented it so you can see that it's real. So have a look and tell me if you'd like to join us at the end of this year.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand on at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that's rank 9. Half of our wealth engineers got there in less than a year. Right? There's no limitation. There's no time limit on getting to rank 9. You can make it in 1 year. You can do it in 5 months like the one gentleman did. It's completely up to you. If you don't make it this year, you're free to make it next year. We don't reset you to 0, ever. Right? You keep building on the success that you've achieved. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 on a brand new car and give it to our wealth engineers. No T's and C's. We don't take the car back after 6 months. You don't share it with other wealth engineers. We buy it cash in your name. It's yours. Rank 11. So this is what our rewards program looks like. You saw it went up to 20. We've actually designed the rewards program up to rank 28. Right? So believe it or not, this is just the beginning in our business. We've mapped out what we think is the next 20 to 30 years for our wealth engineers. There's a third benefit. That's a wealth quest that we do every month. So this is an incentive that runs from the first day of the month to the last day of the month. February's wealth quest is called the Triple Lightning Qualifier, where we challenge you if you can go out and find 3 individuals to bring into your channel and support them in becoming qualified in their own right, which means they need to find 3 each in turn, you get to choose. At the end of the month, you can choose between an iPhone, an iPad, or a smart LED TV. Plus, you get 3,000 XP. So that's on offer this month. You're lucky because you guys have been made aware of the Wealth Quest right at the beginning of February. So you've got pretty much the entire month left to achieve our Wealth Quest. We are asked the question, how does our business model work? How are we able to afford these returns and rewards programs, the Wealth Quests? Traditional insurance companies spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising, right? So a company like down the road, Prime Meridian Direct, they spend a fortune every single day on advertising. That is the lifeblood of their business. We don't do any advertising. We don't spend a cent on marketing at DuePoint. We won't see a DuePoint logo outside of our building, right? We depend on our wealth engineers to go out and tell people about the DuePoint opportunity. And so we can take a portion of our budget, instead of spending billions that the insurance industry spends on marketing and advertising, we can apportion that part of the budget to the returns and rewards program to the benefit of our wealth engineers in this business. Okay, so that explains our business model briefly. We have 3 products here at DuePoint. So the benefit is all financial in nature. The first product is called Access Wealth. It is an investment product. It is 324 Rand a month and is broken down further into 2 sections. So for the 324 Rand a month, 100 Rand will get invested into a tax-free investment fund in your name, right? That sits with Sanlam. It is a full access, so there's no restriction, there's no notice period on this investment. That means you can draw your investment out at any time. You don't have to give us 30 days or 60 days notice. And then on top of that, we give you a little bit of accidental cover to the value of 120,000 Rand. So for example, if you have this investment, you have this product, you're killed in a car accident, for example, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 120,000 Rand plus whatever's in the investment. So this is the investment product, Access Wealth. The second product is called Wealth Guard. Now, Wealth Guard is strictly an insurance product, right? So it's only insurance. It's 299 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.2 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. So the beauty of our personal accident cover is that we don't profile you from a health risk point of view. Right? I'm not calling it life insurance. I'm not calling it funeral cover purposely, because those products profile your risk, your health. This product we're able to offer to anybody over the age of 18. You can be 70 years old, you can be diabetic, you can still take out this product. The premium remains the same and the amount of cover that you receive remains the same. So this is our insurance product, Wealth Guard. The third product is called Wealth Points. The aim of Wealth Points is to save you money on the money that you spend every month anyway. So it's 299 Rand a month, and if you take a look at the list of suppliers, I bet you spend money with at least one of the suppliers there. So for the 299, you get to enjoy the discounts that we've negotiated with the list of partners that we have there. So if you're looking for immediate benefit, it's a great product to have. So for example, Always On Wi-Fi data, if you buy a gig of data typically from Always On, it costs you 100 Rand. But through the Wealth Points program, you get it for 37 Rand. Right, so we've negotiated discounts with each one of those partners. The discounts are different with each one of them. You can find out more information on our website, or if you have any questions around the products, come speak to me. All right, so what is the decision we need to make on this lovely Monday evening? For me, the question gets distilled very simply. And I think back to an interview that I saw with Elon Musk. He says often what people do is they romanticize this notion of entrepreneurship. Right? Easy to romanticize it. You can do what you want. You can make as much money as you want. He says, but often they don't consider the downside of entrepreneurship, the hard work that goes into it. 95% of new businesses fail in the first year in this country. Did you know that? Think about how much time and effort and money gets invested into new businesses. And so this is something that we have to consider. For me, the decision always is, are you willing to endure the downside, which is the time sacrifice, the effort, the persistency, right? Putting up with the people that you're dealing with constantly who can let you down. If you're able to put up with that, well, you know what's on offer. We've got the returns program, the rewards program. So the decision for me is that straightforward. How do you become a wealth engineer? Very straightforward. Read our code of conduct. It's our contract with you that defines what you can and cannot do as a wealth engineer. Registering as a wealth engineer is very easy. You can do it on our website. It takes you about 7 minutes to register as a wealth engineer, and then start applying yourself to the business. So please consider looking at our online training. So for starters, we've got 7 videos that make up the basic series. That's 7 hours of your life that you need to invest. And you will begin to understand every facet of our business and how to build a channel of distribution. Then very important to set goals for yourselves. Right? This is important in any aspect of life. Setting goals. Don't underestimate that. Write the goal down. Decide how soon you want to reach that goal. Strategize a plan to get there. So we help you do that in our business. And then the basic activity of speaking to people. One of our wealth engineers commented, he said, this business is extremely easy. Such a simple business to get involved in. But if you're not speaking to somebody every day, you're not doing the business. Right? So that's the basic task of speaking to people daily. We've got merchandise. So please consider getting business cards. Foremost for me, probably the most important aspect, is to have your own business cards in business. You can't go out proposing some awesome business proposition to somebody and then you don't have business cards. What do? You write your name and number on a corner of the page and say, there, phone me later. Right? So consider getting the business cards. You're going to have to buy these ones. When you get to rank 7, I'll buy you the 12,500 Rand ones. Right? That sounds like a deal. We've got USB sticks. Those have got our videos on there. So if you're data shy, use those. The pins on the top left corner are for people only at rank 1 and above. So the pin represents people earning money in our business. Right? So when you get to rank 1, buy one of those. And if you go ask advice from anyone, the bigger and the flashier the pin they're wearing, the more they know about our business. Don't go ask advice from someone who doesn't have a lapel pin. So the moment you get to that rank, and then we've got other merchandise all on display in the cabinet, the pricing's on the counter. Once you become a wealth engineer, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got about 500 videos on there already, neatly categorized, so don't be overwhelmed. It'll notify you every time we put up a new video, every time the live stream goes out to the entire country. Make sure you download our mobile app. It's available on Android and Apple devices. And when you have the app running, take a selfie, because the moment you update your profile photo, we give you 1,000 XP. Do you remember how much XP you need for rank 1? 1,000, right? It's a smile away. As simple as that. Some don'ts to consider in our code of conduct. So these are very important. Our business is designed to allow people that have the resources to thrive in our business. Right? So our business is not designed for everybody. It's not a charity business. It is aimed at a particular segment of population. If you cannot afford one of our products, you're going to struggle in this business. The business is not designed to burden people that are already burdened. Right? We want to empower people that have the resources to thrive. If you don't have access to the internet or you don't have access to data, you're going to struggle in our business. If you don't have access to transport, it is going to be a struggle for you in our business. So these are things to consider for yourself as well as people that you're going to be prospecting. Don't complete a DuePoint application form on behalf of somebody else. This is illegal and fraudulent, so you're not allowed to do this. We catch people constantly doing this. Don't do it. The person that's becoming a wealth engineer has to fill out the application form themselves. You can't write down their details and fill out the application for them later at night. None of that. So tell people in your channel not to do that. Please don't add direct family members that live with you into your channel. So we call this stacking rule. So we have an anti-stacking rule. If you have family members that don't live with you, they can join your channel. But if they live with you, they can't be in your channel. Right? Straightforward rule. Don't start your own Facebook, your DuePoint Facebook page. So this again is actually breaking FSB regulation. You're not allowed to do it. It's illegal. You're not allowed to advertise or publicize or market DuePoint, our products, our subsidiaries, our third parties on any social media platform. So we have this happening constantly all the time. We've got a company that's contracted to report on this daily. Right? We find you on the internet very easily. We suspend you immediately, and then you've got to phone client service to unsuspend yourself. So don't do it in the first place, and then don't send your leads or your prospects to head office or anywhere unattended, right? It speaks to the responsibility you have around people that you're prospecting. So always treat people professionally with dignity, look after them. You're hoping that these people are going to come into your business and collaborate with you, right? They become business partners of yours. So treat them with respect. Reminder, this Thursday. So this Thursday is a presentation similar to the one we've given, but it's got a slight twist on it. It's called Thematic Thursday. And to kind of incentivize people to watch our Throwdown Thursday, Brendan is going to be discussing a different aspect of the business. So he usually comes up with something unique every month. But at the same time, we have an XP Bonanza. So if you go look at the mailer, it's going to go out tomorrow. You'll see that you get 3, 4, 5 times the amount of XP around this evening, right? So very exciting evening this Thursday. Guys, I remind you, there's only one person that can design their destinies, right? The person that looks back at you in the mirror. It's the only person that decides what you're going to be thinking about, what you're going to be doing that day. It is up to you. I don't romanticize the notion of DuePoint. I see DuePoint just as a vehicle, as a means to an end. And each one of us will have different aspirations. Let DuePoint help you get there, right? Because there's not much that we can depend on in our economy at the moment. So I'm hoping you'll look at DuePoint as this vehicle. If you have any questions around the business, come speak to me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and I hope you didn't have too many debit orders at the end of last month. Okay. Guys, thanks, and have a great week. Thank you.